Hello and welcome. You're watching Head to Head on UATV. I am Oles Garjuk. While the Ukrainian educational reform of school system is booming, the change for higher education has been already injected into some universities around the country. The project is called Strengthening Academic Integrity in Ukraine, and to get more details about it, we are joined in the studio by its coordinator, Taras Tymochko. Hello and thank you for coming. So, Mr. Tymochko, this term academic integrity, what does this mean and what problems does it describe?
Well, actually, the term of academic integrity, we didn't have it, the analog in Ukrainian until probably 2015, till the moment Ukrainian government started to work on the law on education. That time, the first deputy minister, Inna Suvsun, and her team, they tried to include some of the concept on academic integrity into the law. So we needed the translation into Ukrainian because that was something new. We didn't have this phrase or in Ukrainian.
We didn't have this before.
Yeah.
This integrity in our universities, okay?
Yeah, well, it is a huge problem, but to know how to call it, we had to translate it and to find the Ukrainian version of this phrase. Academic integrity is, really often when we are talking about this concept, this issue, everybody thinks that it's all about plagiarism, but it's not. It's more deeper problem that it seems. Most of the scientists or doctorates or professors or educators in Ukraine, they think that this project that we started is all about fighting plagiarism or fighting those people who applied plagiarism in their dissertations, their papers.
Mm-hmm.
But actually,
it's not only about this.
No.
Okay.
It's more than that. It's the academic integrity is actually the result of how the system is built. It is a huge. Probably it's a huge benefit that Ukrainian education system might take off if the system would be built in the right proper way.
But what other issues does it include? The corruption. Does it include corruption?
Corruption, bribery, fake science, cheating as well. That's probably the least problem. When we are speaking about the cheating. To university students, they always start laughing, and they do not find this as a huge problem. Mm-hmm. That's probably because we had this kind of history of or tradition of cheating in schools, and everybody was sharing their experience or showing off, let's say this way, how they cheated in high school or how they managed to cheat in university. Yeah. So
what does your program do about it?
We are trying to change the culture of academia. We are trying to build a new culture on university campuses. In 2016, this project has started, and that time we included 10 higher education institutions actually. And
where are they located? In what cities?
They are representing pretty much the whole Ukraine. So we have.
So these are the main universities.
Pretty much, we have of a different kind. We have medical university in Ternopil. We have technical university in Lutsk. We have the part of huge university, the Institute for International Relations of Taras Tymochko University.
Okay.
We have really small university in Izmail, Izmail State University of Humanities. Or we have the huge universities, huge classical institutions such as Sumy State University or Kharkiv-Karazin University.
Kharkiv-Karazin.
Yeah.
What about Lviv? Lviv also?
A lot of people are asking us why we didn't choose any institution in Lviv. That's probably because Lviv is one of the cultural and educational centers in Ukraine, and we tried to cover Western Ukraine, but with other cities such as Ternopil or Lutsk.
But so you are choosing the participants, not the cities are applying.
Actually, Ministry of Education and Science and the U.S. Embassy who supported the project,
okay.
They gave us some recommendations on what university should be included. And the first one was Donetsk National University is relocated, and it was obligatory option, let's say this way, to include the institution to our project. And I'm very delighted to have this institution, this relocated university, as partner in the project.
Mm-hmm. And for how long is this program scheduled for?
We started in 2016, and we are going to work until the end of 2019. So it's 4 years, and we picked this term to cover mostly every year of freshman students in those universities. What we do with them, we are trying to do as many, let's say, educational and informational or awareness events with them, telling what is economic integrity, why it is important for them, and how it will help them in the future, actually for their future career.
Mm-hmm. So these are some kind of lectures?
That includes lectures by us, by my colleagues, by our consultants. We work with some foreign partners, such as Fairfield University from the United States, actually Connecticut state. We work with those institutions that have this infrastructure of academic integrity already developed, such as Ukrainian Catholic University or Kyiv-Mohyla Academy. They have this history of integrity in their on their campuses, so they're kind of sharing their experience on what they did to prevent plagiarism, to prevent corruption, to fight corruption, and so on.
Well, after this sharing experience and after this some kind of lectures, is there anyone who is keeping an eye on these universities who participate?
We are trying to monitor what they do. We well, probably to let you know more about how we work, I'll probably share what components or what points we work on at the universities. First of all, it's the awareness. So we are doing all those lectures. We are doing lots of events with employers who are sharing what kind of employee they are waiting for after they graduate university. They are sharing what competencies or what skills they are expecting from their future employees. So that helps students to realize why they're at the university and what they should learn, and why should they really learn at the university. We are also trying to involve Ministry of Education and Science, all other kind of partners. We do monitor with doing researches. The last one was last year in December, November, covering all 10 universities, asking students, first of all, whether they ever bribed their teachers, or have they ever plagiarized the paper. And we had I would say unexpected results. I thought the situation in Ukraine is far worse, but it seems that we have a couple of universities that are doing quite fine.
Pretty fine.
Yeah.
So what are the universities who are mostly involved in corruption and plagiarism?
Well, we decided to keep the data uncovered. So we have published the results of this research, but not identifying each university. So we have this chart where you can see the results, but you will never find which university is which. So it's University 1, University 2, University 3.
What does happen to these results?
This is the first, what is called baseline polling. And that's kind of the first research we've done last year, and we are going to do the next one, the preliminary monitoring, this year in 2018, to see the difference and maybe some of the results of our work.
Well, maybe they will change. Okay.
Yeah.
But do you provide the Ministry of Education with your results so they can take some measures, or
of course, we are sharing
some penalties?
We are sharing all the data that we have. with the Ministry of Education and Science, and the ministry here is the key partner of the project, so we are in constant touch with them.
And what is the amount of corruption we're talking about? So what are the prices?
It differs from one university to another, but we heard lots of stories from students. We've done, before the baseline polling, we've done the focus group research, asking students how it works and what would be the reasons or who is the initiator of the bribery. And we actually, students are realizing, and they are admitting that in most cases they are the one to initiate the bribe. And
so they provoke.
They do. Actually, the research we've done was more to find the reasons why it happens, more than to define the amount or the scope of the problem.
What are the reasons?
Pretty much, we found out, our theory was, hypothesis was that the key problem is the lack of motivation for studying.
Because of the bad education, or because of what? Because they don't believe that this education will help them to get the job.
Pretty much, well, the number one reason that students defined as a key problem was that they do not realize, they do not understand where they can apply the knowledge that they are getting at the university. The second one would be the lack of possibilities or options to choose their classes. Here we are talking about the elective courses. This is something that is actually described in the law on higher education that was adopted in 2014, so that every higher education institution should provide to students minimum 25% of elective courses. What are elective courses? That's so kind of classes that you are choosing that you would like to study, to learn. And that means that you might have a choice like 2 classes out of 10, and you as a student, you might define what really narrow field of study you'll choose, and you'll study in the university. So if you're a sociologist, you might be interested more in qualitative kinds of research. So you're choosing classes that are connected with the qualitative research. Or if you are of a chemistry major, you might be choosing only classes because you're interested in, let's say, molecular chemistry. So you're choosing that type of classes, and you're building your narrow profile of studying.
What about plagiarism? Do you have any mechanism to detect?
Yeah, we've been working with the universities, not offering them the specific anti-plagiarism software. We're always saying that software is it's only the instrument, the tool to find matches in the text. But to have the final decision, final expertise, you have to give those results, those data that is found by the program, by the software, to the teacher or to the expert, actually, for the analysis. Because really often, when you find the match in the text, you have to realize that sometimes those matches, they are not plagiarized. So it's not plagiarism, actually. If someone is using the couple lines of Ukrainian law, it doesn't mean that it is plagiarism. It doesn't mean that you copied from the website, Verkhovna Rada website or Parliament website, and pasted in your work. It doesn't mean that, and you don't have any citation for that. It doesn't mean that's plagiarized.
So is it popular in Ukraine or not?
From year to year, actually from month to month, we see the increase of the demand for anti-plagiarized software in Ukraine. we monitor our universities and we see that every time more and more universities are choosing to check papers for plagiarism. Mainly, they are starting with the bachelor students, but then some of them went further and they are now working with the master's degree students as well.
But if they demand this, if they need this software, probably then it means that plagiarism increased in Ukraine, or what do you mean by that?
That means that
where they're willing to check and double check.
You know, there is a saying
it's a quality work.
There is a saying that there wasn't any corruption in Ukraine before we started to fight it. Same with the plagiarism. There was no plagiarism in Ukraine until we started to check for the plagiarism, the papers in academia. So that means that more and more universities are interested to raise the quality of the education in their walls. And that means that more and more administrations of the university are concerned of how the papers look like and what is the quality of papers written by students. So probably that's why they are applying more. They are using the AntiPlagiarism software. But it is really important to say that before checking for plagiarism, you have to probably teach students how to write properly. And that's one of our components as well. We are trying to, we developed the whole course last year on academic writing and applied in some of the universities for freshman students, teaching them how to reference, how to cite, and it pretty much works. And some of the universities, they took this course as a basis and they adopted it to their needs. So Technical University in Lutsk, they transformed it according to the technical majors, maybe. And Medical University, they started to teach this course for, first of all, at first they started with the PhD students, telling them or introducing them academic writing and maybe not introducing, but awareing them how to write properly and how to avoid plagiarism and so on, how to make your paper more of a quality than
well, that's a hard task to do, and thank you so much for contributing to the educational system of Ukraine, and also thank you for this conversation.
Thank you.
That was Taras Tymochko, coordinator of Strengthening Academic Integrity in Ukraine project. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Oles Garjuk. Goodbye.